Hey, hardcore Hog fans. Welcome to Prediction Thursday. I'm Rick DeWese coming to you with my co-host George Waddell from Beverly Hills, California. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Rick? It sure is a nice day here, but it's been a week. This is the first I've talked all week. I haven't said a word since the Texas game. So if that tells you anything.
Well, it was a disappointing loss, but we did a fine job. I'm very proud of our boys. 20-10. I didn't expect that score. Our special guest this week, David Sterling, had it the closest. What's up, David? How are you today?
Doing great. Thank you guys for having me. Glad to be here, like the new format. And all I have to say right now is thank God we're not the Cowboys. You know, the only people who have it worse than us right now.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? They got more problems than a math book right now. Hey, we're glad to have you, David, and can't wait to talk about it a little further. But let's jump right into the predictions because, after all, this is Prediction Thursday. George, I'm going to kick it back to you, buddy. What do you got for this week? Louisiana Tech. What are we going to do? Coming to town.
It's Louisiana Tech. I did all my background on Louisiana Monroe. So, call timeout.
Yeah.
So, I think the Hogs probably get bowl eligible this week with 38 points. I think that's enough. I think maybe Louisiana Monroe gets 17, but 38-17 is what
I like it. I'll go with that. I mean, that's not a bad score. I'm in the neighborhood with you. David, I'm going to toss it over to you and see what you got to say about it. I'll let you take the next, and I'll finish this because I think we're going to be pretty close here.
Well, I actually did my research on the correct team this week, and I have my prediction. I think the Hogs are going to do good this week. I think they've got a lot of pent up anger that they're ready to take out on their opponent from Conference USA, and I think that the Hogs are going to score about 56 points this week, and I think their defense is going to step up and hold the Bulldogs to 10. So my prediction is 56-10 Hogs.
Wow. That's a good one. I like that.
That's quite a turnaround from 15-14 last week.
Hey, I'm not so sure that, I mean, he and I didn't talk before the show because that's a Rick DeWese kind of score if you want to get it. But I'm actually this week, I'm a little bit more conservative than that. There's a lot to talk about as we move forward, but I've got Arkansas 35, La Tech 16, and we'll get into it, but 35-16 is going to be my score, and you guys can take it from there.
You talk about the neighborhood. We're right next door to each other. And, you know, I just think 38 points right now for the Hogs is the way they've been scoring the football is kind of a moderate, you know, good day at the office kind of score on for a Bobby Petrino offense. But, you know, 17 points against Louisiana Tech for our defense that held Texas to 20. You know, maybe that's a little high, but you know, I really respect our defense. I was super disappointed again with turnovers and penalties. So if we can clean that up.
We've been disappointed all year with turnover and penalties. If we don't win the turnover battle, we're not going to win the game. You know, here's part of my reasoning with the La Tech deal. You know, they got the number 12 defense in the nation. I don't know how much that says. But they do run this pretty cool 3-3-5 defense with a rover, and they've got this number 10 Colby Fields. This kid is a machine. He almost plays like your constant blitzing cornerback / linebacker. The kid can intercept the ball. The kid can sack your quarterback. He's an all-about athlete. So look out for number 10. He's something else. And so that's why I kind of came down to 35. My crazy 16 score with them, you know, they beat Western Kentucky last week with 4 field goals. So it looks like they get close enough to score, but don't. And so I'm giving them 3 field goals against the Hogs. And then I gave them a consolation touchdown just in case it becomes 35-0. And they've got in the third team. So anyway, David, what do you think, bud?
Well, I agree. I mean, they do have the number 12 ranked defense in the country, but they're again playing Conference USA opponents. They haven't played any SEC teams at this point. I mean, we're coming off of, I think we've had 6 ranked teams: had Oklahoma State, A&M, Tennessee, LSU, Ole Miss, and Texas all ranked. We got 23 Missouri coming up next week. They're scoring about 21, 22 points a game. We're scoring about 30 points a game, 30.7 points a game in the SEC. They do have a good defense, but they've been holding their opponents, pretty lousy opponents, to only 21 points a game. That's not an SEC type team. I think playing an SEC quality team, and I think we are an SEC quality team. The games we've lost this year have been to pretty good opponents, So I just think that right now it's time to kind of open up the offense like we did against UAPB. I don't know if we'll actually score 70, but I figure Trino and Pittman are kind of motivated to score some real points to kind of prove that we do actually have an offense. And Taylon Green, healthy. He looked 90% last week. I think he'll be 95% this week. Armstrong, he's been doing so great, at receiver. He's a senior. He's got something to play for here. Jaquindon Jackson's healthy again. Braylon Russell's healthy. I think we'll be able to establish the run, which will open up that passing game. And then, of course, on defense, Landon Jackson, I think he's going to go late first round or early second round in the draft. He's got something to play for here while he's got a chance because, let's face it, we haven't done too good against Missouri. So if we're going to be bowl eligible and playing an extra game here, he's going to have one heck of a game here to kind of show out because he may not get the chance to do that against Missouri. And then I like what they've done with the secondary as well this last week when they shook it up a little bit and they got Hudson Clark, Stewart, Mitchell, and Worth in there. And it worked. We held Texas pretty good, and I think we'll be able to hold Louisiana Tech to very few points this week. So that's kind of why I said 56-10. I think the offense opens up and the defense shuts them down. So that's my prediction.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, I'm a big fan of our defense right now. I think we'll do a fantastic job holding them. What I'm concerned about when it comes to, because trust me, I wanted to get out there with that 63-point score, but I watched a little bit of the Western Kentucky game. I watched some of the other games, and what I saw was they've got such a heavy running game. They've got 2 kids that run the football, and they're not bad at all, but I just feel like they're going to eat the clock. And they got a number 25 Gibbons and number 22 Wiggins. So Gibbons and Wiggins, they are the combo, and they're clock killers. They do manage first downs. They're having trouble when they get close. They're having trouble scoring. But at the end of the day, these kids can run the football, and I know they know what they're up against with a team like Arkansas. They're going to be very careful to control that ball all they can. So 35 was about as high as I could get. I'm not against your 50-point deal. I'm just hoping there's enough time to do it. And if it does get off the rails, like it might, then that's an easy score, and then so is 63. So I'm not against that either, but I'm just thinking if the game plays out like the stats tell me it should, I'm saying 35 points is the number for the Hogs, and then 16 ought to be the number for the La Techies, the Bulldogs.
Bulldogs. Well, what is the over-under for this game? Do you know that, Rick? I know we don't.
49 is the over-under, and it's a minus 21.5 or minus 21 right now. Hogs. Tough bet.
Yeah, that is a tough bet.
Yeah, that's tightening up a little bit because it opened up on Sunday. The Razorbacks minus 22.5, and I think this morning or yesterday it was down to 22. Calling a little bit closer, and then the over/under started at 52.5. Now it's down to 50. So you're saying it's down to 49 now?
Yep. I'm seeing 49 and 21.5. So it's coming on. It's coming on down. That's why I'm waiting. If I'm going to place a bet on the game, I'm going to probably wait till it gets a little bit closer and just see what happens. I really just don't have an opinion on the bet right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So, Mr. DeWese, I have a couple of questions for you since we haven't really talked too much this week about the game, your adventure, but I just know for a fact that last week you were in South Dakota.
That is true. And you
And
saw that I showed up for the Texas game, right?
yes, and I saw clips of you at the Texas game, and in fact, joined you nearly live from the stands in the Texas Arkansas game in the second half. Now, you got back to Arkansas the day before, right?
Well, and the plan was to sit at my brother's house, watch the game, chill out, have a few cocktails in the morning, eat a big breakfast, watch the game, have friends over. My daughter came over. It was all fun and games until the first quarter was over. And my man Jay Lawson happened to have an extra ticket for me. And I'm like, oh God. I said, boys, and I'm in Goshen. I'm 45 minutes from the game. I said, boys, I gotta go. I said, my people need me. I gotta get to the game. I called Lawson. I said, send me your ticket. He had an extra ticket, and I already knew that. I said, send me that extra ticket. I'm headed to the game. I'll be there in 45 minutes. And so my daughter took me and dropped me off right in front of gate 1. They're waving her through. Come on. I jumped out of the car, and I got there halfway through the second quarter, or most of the way through the second quarter, and got up in the seats. And, hey, we started doing better, buddy. I mean, I was there cheering them on.
I know.
I mean, can't believe it. Hey,
As soon as you got to the game, it was on. We turned it around.
after being in South Dakota for 22 days, I mean, literally, I've not seen that many humans in 22 days. I mean, I hadn't even seen as many as 3 humans in 22 days. So, I mean, to have 70,000 people, I was in my own element after that.
Yeah, the most people you saw were the stone the stone heads at the at Mount Rushmore.
Right, I saw Mount
That was the biggest
Rushmore.
crowd you
I
saw.
did. And the park ranger. And I saw the park ranger. Yeah.
And the goat.
Yeah, she's the one that pointed out the mountain goat.
Oh my gosh.
Lord, crazy times, buddy.
What an
Crazy times.
adventure. But for you to even get back to Arkansas and to be at the game after being marooned in South Dakota for 22 days.
I love it. Hey, and the funny thing is I'll be in Fayetteville this weekend. I'm coming up Friday night for the Pulaski Academy game, the playoff game against Fayetteville. And then we're going to spend the night with my daughter and see her the next morning. But the game's not until 3, and I've got plans in Little Rock, so I got to be back in Little Rock long before that. So this is going to be one of the few games I'm missing this week. So hate that I'm missing it, but
I was about to say I'll edit that out for the Hardcore Hog broadcast. So
yeah, please, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you on that. You do have the power, George. You have the power.
I have the production power. Listen,
David, are you going to the ball game?
It's still up in the air. I've got tickets. I happen to be a season ticket holder. My daughter's she's a senior up there this year. And so we're thinking about going up there, but I need to talk to the wife, see if we're going to get rid of the tickets or head up that way. Still to be determined.
No, I hear you. Yeah. I've got my daughter's a sophomore up there, so we've been up there quite often. Then George has a senior up there. Come on.
Yeah, we are it's like Dad's, week on Prediction Thursday. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
My daughter saw a picture of your son the other day and actually saw a picture of you on Facebook or something, said that y'all look like twins,
Yeah. Yeah. That apple didn't fall far from the tree. That's for sure. I talked to him on the phone the other day, and now that we're not only father and son, but Sigma Nu brothers, it's hard to call him son, because, hey, brother, it just seems like such more the right thing to say. But it's funny because he will be graduating this year and then coming out here to California and kind of launching his career. So he'll be joining the rest of the crowd.
That kid is going to be famous. I can promise you that.
He's already famous. He just doesn't know it yet.
Look who his dad is.
He's got a little swagger to him. I've seen some of the videos you guys have posted. He's got the George Waddell swagger to him.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, so the Texas game, of course, turned around on turnovers.
Oh, yeah, that thing.
Who would have thought that something like that would have changed the game? But I actually thought in the second half we had some momentum, we had the chance, and the defense did everything they could. But that last touchdown after that,
Well, when we fumbled out there on the 30-something yard line, that was the side of the field I was on.
right?
And I saw the fumble, and then I saw the Razorback that was closest to the fumble, and he had no idea the ball was fumbled, or he probably could have gotten it. And the Texas guy did see it. And I just thought, oh, this is just typical hog lore right here. But, poor kid, that's not going to define his career. He's going to be a good football player. But at the end of the day, that was heartbreaking because there was only 3.5 minutes left or something like that. So, you pretty much knew that was the nail in the coffin. And I hated it. Hated it.
Where did you watch the game last week, David?
I watched it from the comfort of my own home. And
Attaboy.
it's
so easy to do when you have the 80-inch screen TV and no line at the bathroom.
Well, we had thought about going up to Fayetteville. I had a brief that was due on Monday, so I had to spend most of the weekend in the office. To be honest with you, I was trying not to jinx the game. Sometimes when I'm in the stands, I feel like I'm jinxing it. I did that with LSU. We were down a couple of touchdowns in the first quarter. I looked at my wife. I said, let's get out of here. I told some people down below, I said, here, you can have my seats. As we're walking out of the stadium, we scored our first touchdown. I said, see, I'm just getting out of the way.
Yeah. Problem is, Sterling, is there's 70,000 other people that could say the same thing.
I used to be the same way.
It's like we get jinxed by playing good football teams. And Texas was just a really good football team. I will tell you, I was in Santa Barbara watching the game. 9 a.m. My phone rings, and it's my brother, who has for years antagonized me because he's this big Willie Nelson fan, and so he has always been like this Texas part of the family. Kind of he takes this outcast view of himself. And so he wants to call me as the game is kicking off. I called him on two.
Don't ring my phone. Don't call me.
First of all, that's just antagonistic and mean to call somebody when they know that they're watching the football game. So I ignored it, first of all, and then didn't call him back for like 3 days after that. So that's what you get.
Well, I had all of my Texas boys texting me the whole time. And listen, a third of my Texas friends are Hog fans. So they all started texting. And it went back and forth and back and forth. That was part of my decision to just go to the ball game because I knew when I got in the stadium, I wouldn't see or answer any of their texts. Because I put it on Do Not Disturb, and I started recording live for hardcore Hog fans. It's exactly the same as it's always been. And the coolest thing about Texas fans, I mean, listen, and you and I are the same way. I can't stand Texas. I am the worst, and I cannot stand Texas football. But one thing I do like is I love Texas fans. I love them. I fed them in 2004 when they barely beat us like 22-16 or whatever. And even this year, I was at the SAE house after the game, and there was tons of Texas people at the SAE house. They were all super cool, super chill, just as they've always been. Here's a funny story. I had some Texas fans sitting just down to the left, 2 girls. And they kept getting up and going and getting popcorn or going to the bathroom or whatever. And it was always, excuse me. And it's pretty tight up there where Jay is. And so I'm like, okay. Well, the last time they got up, I said, hey, y'all stop for a second. I said, right down there in the concourse, right by the concession stand, I said, they're selling hog sweaters. They both had on Texas sweaters. They're red and white. They've got a Razorback on them. They're selling them right down there in the concourse. when y'all come back, why don't you just go buy a couple? I'll pay for them. And just come back with the Texas sweater on. I mean, the hog sweater on. And, of course, they go do their thing. They come back, and I went, hey, did y'all miss the memo? And they're like, okay, we get it, you know. But we have fun with Texas fans every time, no matter what. As much as you hate the football team.
They didn't buy it? They didn't get the
They didn't buy the hog sweater. I mean, come on.
Let me tell you, Rick, for my birthday, which was 2 weeks ago, thanks for all the birthdays, by the way, I got hog pajamas. I got hog slippers. I got a hog pullover, hog shirt, hog everything.
Somebody had to do business in Arkansas because you can't buy that.
Turned completely hog fan. She's the number one hog fan in Santa Barbara, or none. She's such a big hog fan that she gets so nervous that she wants to stay in bed during these early games because she can't stand to watch the games. And then, when she does get up, she can't stand to sit in front of the TV with me and watch the actual football game. She needs to be, doing something else. So,
right.
She's really big. She's a big convert.
As much as you say that you like Texas fans, I think a lot of fans like the Arkansas fans when they come to Fayetteville. I was earlier, I guess it was last season when Cincinnati came to town. I parked over by Fayetteville High School and was walking towards the stadium, and I looked over and I saw someone with their setup with their Cincinnati flag, the Bearcat flag and everything, and I just went over to say hello, and it's just him and his wife, and they were grilling over there. Got to talking to them, welcoming to Arkansas, wishing them luck, but not too much luck, and asked them what they were grilling. They were grilling some eggplant over there, which I thought was kind of, didn't criticize them or anything. I said, well, good luck with that. About that time, some other hog fans were walking by, and they started going, woo pig, suey. And those Cincinnati fans said, we're grilling some hog over here on this grill. And I looked at him, looked at the other guy, and said, don't listen to him. He's grilling eggplant.
Oh, those Cincinnati fans are so cosmopolitan.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. It's been a good prediction Thursday. Counselor, thanks for joining us. We appreciate your deposition today.
50's 10.
Jorge Rodriguez, amigo.
Yes.
I've seen the sunset behind you. The traffic is getting lighter.
Yep. Lights are on.
Look, I got the hardcore logo behind me. How you like that? Let's go. We'll have sponsors. We'll have sponsors next year. Hell, we may have sponsors before basketball. Don't you worry.
I was about to say, let's do it. Hey, sponsor this week. The sponsor this week is the mushroom tacos that Stella just brought.
That's almost as bad
Stella,
as the
my
grilled
girl.
eggplant.
She just did. I mean, these things
beats grilled eggplant. That's for sure.
Yeah, mushroom tacos, bro. Mushroom tacos. It's California.
Yeah.
California.
It is California. All right, boys. Y'all enjoy the game.